you.
Yeah.
Okay. Where do we leave off? Where do we leave off? Amud Aleph, right?
Yes.
See, the Olam's in the Rosh Hashana mode. No schmoozing, unless I missed the schmooze.
You missed the schmooze.
I missed the schmooze. Okay,
You
I apologize.
You see the picture Parrot just posted?
What did he put on an Ezra or something?
That's my daughter's house. That's a fig. That's Paris and Ishra, Mamish. Mamish. I picked it. I picked it today, this afternoon. Yeah.
Where are you, Muncie? Where are you, Muncie?
No, I'm here in Far Rockaway.
Okay. Where is this? Where?
Woodmere. They live in Woodmere. They bought a house in Woodmere.
Oh, the new house in Woodmere. Wow.
Yeah,
nice.
I sent it to Shmuel. Shmuel was so excited. He said, "Oh, chalav ta'enim," or as he says, chalav ta'enim.
Hello. Right.
I had a fig tree in Virginia where I grew up. That's exactly when you pick it off, it bled milk.
They have milk in them? Well,
it's a white liquid.
It's white. It's the dot on the fruit is from the top. That's white. White's coming out of the top.
I saw that. I thought that was just a blettel.
No.
I'm in Ezra mode. So
right.
The fruit
what do you want to say, Mike?
Jerry, if a man can't go to school tomorrow, how many koilot?
If what?
If a man is not going to be able to go to shul, how many koilis does he have to hear?
He's a chayla, so 30. Nastam he's a chayla. Or he's taking care of a chayla. One of the two. Right? 30. Really? That's all you need is 30. Yeah. Okay.
Now, which 30?
What?
Tequila, Shvarim, Trua, Tequila 3 times, or
Tequila, Shvarim, 3 of each. Tequila, Shvarim, Trua, Tequila, 3 of those. 3.
Okay.
3 tequillas. Hold on, Gershie's here. Hold on. Should we sit in the kitchen? Okay. Okay. All right. So let's go. Yeah. So it was a little late. So Itma. Yeah, we're gonna try and do a blot and a half now. Not such a hard daf. Just starting now. Yes, we're just starting now. So Itma. Efrayach. Yeah, about 10 lines up from the bottom. How did we get up to? Yeah. Right. So we finished over Rosh Hashana. That Rosh Hashana is one long day, and therefore you can't do the Tanai with the eruv tavshiln. So now it's new sugi. So an Efrayach is a chick that gets hatched. It jumps out of the shell on Yom Tov. Rav Amar also Shmuel the Tamer of Yochanan Amar Mutter. It's either Shmuel or of Yochanan who say that it's Mutter. Rav Amar also Mukzu. It's Muksa, right? It wasn't meant to be. You didn't know it was going to hatch on before Yom Tov, so your das was not on that, so therefore it's Muksa. Shmuel the Tamer of Yochanan Amar Mutter Haylu Mater Atek B'Shchita. So there's another lumdisha thing here in Beya, that since it would be matter itself with shchita, right? Meaning, we're going to see on Amud Beis, and we had it really once yesterday, about 2 days ago, that the status of an egg is a sheretz. The status of an egg is a sheretz until that baby is born, until that chick gets hatched, right? So what's going on is that it's going out from being a sheretz to being a mutter to be eaten, right? So therefore, it's going to take away the muksa, the same meaning. It's going to be. I hope I'm trying to explain this correctly, but meaning when something is born, it becomes mutter agav the shchita, right? So Mamela, this egg, not this egg, when it becomes a chick, so it becomes a new entity. And
doesn't it create a new isser though? Meaning
yes,
the same way every other animal. So I don't understand. It creates a heter, but also creates an isser. Meaning the same way it matters itself for shechita, it also asks itself that it needs shechita.
I think that's exactly it, Akiva. I think that it becomes also the shechita, Mamela, meaning
It's
now
not
that
heter though. The Gemara says heter. The Gemara says, it's another isser that comes on it. It transfers its isser from being. I think there's another isser they bring down as isser sharet, and now it's an isser that it's ever menachai. It just transferred its isser.
Correct, but now that isser will make it that it's going to not be muksa.
Why though? The Gemara seems to say since it's migu, Rashi since it's matter in one Indian, but it's not matter in one Indian. It asher is in another in an Indian. What's the heter of this?
Because he's saying it's more.
There's other isurim that are coming on.
You're enochanami. You're 100% right. It's a lomdisha thing that it's a migu. Anytime you get the word migu, it's a 3-letter word, but it's a very loaded word, migu. right when you hear the word migu, you know you're in trouble. Right? So migu was saying since it becomes, now it requires shchita. Or what's the lashon of Rashi? Migu de iskan laha. Once it gets fixed for this, it also gets fixed. You're right. What's the connection?
It's not really about its status now.
I'm not even asking on the connection. I'm asking that it's not misakin for anything because there's an issue that comes on it. What kind of tikkun is that?
Because basically we're saying
Back at Tzvi, time to move on.
yeah. So since but I think the shot is that since it's losing its sheret status, so Mamela it also loses its muksa status. That's the way you have to say it, Akiva. But I don't know how you. I don't know what the connection is. Akiva's right. He said it was Basil. Let's just understand what the Gemara is trying to say. The Gemara is trying to say that since it loses its sheret status, right? When it's in the egg, it's a sheret. You're not allowed to eat it. It's considered a disgusting, creepy, crawly, whatever you want to call it. But once it jumps out of the eggs and now it loses its sheret status, it also loses its muksa status. Okay, however you understand that, right? Because but stamen animals also muksa.
It's impossible to say that muksa is more usher than sherets. So it's not the sheret, it's not the muksa.
Yeah, okay. Right. So Gershon is saying, it's not any worse. Okay, whatever it is, but that's the lumdus. So Amri le Rav Kahana, Rav Asi le Rav, V'chima ben zeh le'egel shenol b'Yom Tov. Why is this any different than a calf that's born on Yom Tov, which is not muksa, right? Because we're going to see right that a calf born on Yom Tov is not muksa, right? So Rav Asi, so we're saying to Rav, he says it's asa because it's muksa. Why is it muksa? A calf that's born on Yom Tov, you're allowed to shecht it. That's also a new entity. It wasn't in this world before Yom Tov. No, because it's muchan because of its mother. Meaning, if you would have shechted the mother and you would have found the baby in there, right? That's what we call a ben pakua, right? So then that animal would have been mutter even without shechita. So since the mother was muchan to be shechted, so this fetus goes with that. So then the Gemara says, okay, let's say you have an egel that's born from a treifa. You have an animal that's a treifa. It's about to die. It's going to die within the year. And then it has a baby. So that baby's perfectly mutter to eat, right? But you can't say it's mutter agav ima because you would not be able to eat the mother because the mother's treif. So Shasik Rav was quiet. So he shlugged up Rav. So Marav Avitem Rav Yosef, my time was Shasik Rav. Why was Rav quiet? Why couldn't it be mutter agav ima for dogs? Meaning dogs, right? Dog, you can take the treifa and you cut it up and you give it to the dogs. That's not mutter, right? Meaning if you had it in your das before, Yom Tov, so it's not muksa. So since it's not muksa to be able to give it to dogs, so then the animal can be given to anybody can chef the animal. So why was Rav quiet? Amar le Abaya, so Abaya said, Hashta, another interesting lumdus Machlokes. Hashta, muchan l'adam lo yahavi muchan l'klavim. If something is not muksa, muchan is the opposite of muksa. Right? Muchan means prepared. Muksa means it's not prepared. Right? So muchan l'adam lo yahavi muchan l'klavim. No, I'm sorry, I said it as a question. It's a statement. Right? So muchan l'adam is not muchan l'klavim. So just because it's a human meant to eat, it doesn't mean that it's you can give it to dogs. The Tran, you're allowed to cut up gourds. If not, and a nevela in front of dogs. But let's say the animal died on Shabbos. So it was not, you didn't have it in your head before Shabbos. It was a regular animal. You didn't have it in your head before Shabbos, and then it died on Shabbos. Because it's not considered prepared. Mukhan leklavim, avi mukhan la'adam. Mukhan leklavim is considered mukhan for. Sorry, I'm going to do that. Yeah. So mukhan leklavim, avi mukhan la'adam. So meaning is something prepared for a person, for a dog, can it be prepared for a person? So meaning you don't say that if it's muksa for the human, it's not going to be muksa. If it's not muksa for the human, doesn't mean it's not going to be muksa for the dog. So Amalei in, he says no. He says, well, in means yes, but yeah, mukhan la'adam lo havi mukhan leklavim. If it's mukhan la'adam, it doesn't mean that it's going to be mukhan for dogs. The ma'id chazi leila inish lo shadi leila klavim. Nobody's giving dogs food that humans will eat. You're only going to give dogs food that humans will not eat. But if it's mukhan for a dog, then it will be mukhan for a adam. The daita de inish akol midi de chazile, because the das of a person is anything that's possible. I think the olam on this daf can understand this concept. The das of a person is, at least I could. The das of a person is on any food that's potentially edible. Anybody's going to take.
Yaakov, that's what I mean. I don't want to. It's late, Taka, but.
Yeah.
So I don't make brachas on mezainis or peiros in the Suda. I have in zin and anything that's gonna come out of that kitchen, I'm gonna eat.
Okay.
I know moms don't understand the halacha anyway. That's enough.
Right. So you're saying so all right. So a human has their das on any type of food, but if you're allowing food for humans, that doesn't mean you're going to allow the food for dogs, because the human never had it in his das that he's going to feed it to dogs. Why would you want to feed your food to a dog? Fine. So that's what the Machlokes boils down to, is if something's mukhan for an adam, whether it's mukhan for klavim or not. So Tani Kava say the Rav, Tani Kava say the Shmuel. We have Braysos like each one Vitem and Rechanan. Maybe some say it's Shmuel and some say it's Rabbi Yochanan. Tani Kava say the Rav Egel Shanel Yom Tov. Mutter, a calf is born on Yom Tov, you're allowed to shecht it that day. If Rayach Shanel Yom Tov, Aser. But a chick that hatches on Yom Tov, it's Aser. What's the difference between the chick and the calf? They were both not in this world before Yom Tov started, and then they became in this world, so why are they not muksa? So Muchan Agav Imai B'Shchita, I'm sorry, Zeh Muchan Agav Imai B'Shchita, Zeh Ene Muchan Agav Imai. One is considered prepared Agav its mother by Shchita, and this one's not considered Muchan Agav Imai, like we said, because if it's Muchan to give to dogs, the treifa, so then it's going to be Muchan to give to humans too. Right? But the chick is not. The chick is not, has nothing to do with the mother, it's a separate entity. Fine. Tani Kavasi the Shmuel V'Temer Rabbi Yochanan, and we have a Braysos like the Makilim. Egel Shanoil B'Yom Tov Mutter. If you have a calf that's born on Yom Tov, it's Mutter. But Froyach Shanoil B'Yom Tov Mutter. And a Froyach that's born on Yom Tov is also Mutter. My timer Zem Muchan Hakavim Avizem Mater Atzmei B'Shchita, like we said on Amud Aleph. This one's considered prepared because of its mother, and this one's considered Mater Atzmei B'Shchita. Right? That we said that just like the Shchita, once it's going to require Shchita, it's also going to meaning, and it's getting rid of the sheretz label. So then it's also going to get rid of the what is sheretz label? It's going to get rid of the muktzah label. Yeah, fine. So Tanavan, Efrayach Shalom Yom Tov also, and Efrayach that's born on Yom Tov is also. Rabbi Elazar ben Yaakov Eimer Af Bechol also. Even during the week, it's also because it didn't open its eyes. Meaning, Rabbi Elazar ben Yaakov is saying, and we had this mentioned yesterday's stuff. Rabbi Elazar ben Yaakov is saying that a chick cannot be eaten until you give it an eye exam to see that it opens its eyes. If it didn't open its eyes, it's still considered a sheretz and it's not allowed to be eaten. I have no idea how much time it takes from when it hatches till when it opens its eyes. It must be some amount of time. Right, because
it's a very short time. It's a very short time.
Very short time. So you think? So what's he trying? I mean, I know. We split hairs. We split hairs in Gemara. I know that. But I'm saying is that you're saying it's really not that much of not time, right?
No, I the only thing I would say is that I think in like some Asian countries they eat like those the like when the whole chicken is almost like whole but the egg is still intact. I'd say
It's
maybe it's
called
like that.
beluga. They eat it in
Yeah.
third world countries like the
Oh,
Philippines. We had this
Right,
guy
so I
at
would
work
say
that
it's
used to
something
eat
like
that and
that.
make us
When-
want to barf.
Right, like when the chicken is fully formed, but it hasn't come out of the shell yet. So you could say like it's technically maybe alive, but you don't want to like pop the whole thing in your mouth.
Okay, but then how long does it take to open its eyes?
No, a few seconds, but I'm saying like while it's trying to get its way out of the shell. I don't know. It's a few seconds. I've seen chickens being hatched numerous times. It's a few seconds. The thing is awake.
I hear. Okay.
How would that destroy the migu?
Why would that destroy the migu?
Would it not?
I don't understand what you're
When
saying.
it's Laila, it's not mutter, it's still a sheretz.
It's still because it's not that it's a sheret, but then it's going to lose its sheret status once it opens its eyes. I mean, the migu's not coming at the same time.
Yeah.
I hear. I don't know. Okay, so let's see weiter. Kiman Ozla, right about 10 lines up from the wide lines. Kiman Ozla hod tani l'chol sheretz sheretz al oretz. To any sheretz that's sheretz on the ground, l'rabbi sefroichim shalei niftachu einayim. That is come to include a chick that never opened its eyes. It's still considered a sheretz and it's also to eat. Kiman, who's that like? Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov. That's like Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov. Some Rav Huna Amara Beitzim Yitziyasa Nigmar Nudin. Right now, Gemara, this is going to take us for at least halfway down the next Amud of exactly what he means by this. He says, a Beitzah im Yitziyasa Nigmar. Once it comes out, that's when it becomes completed. Right, meaning it's not considered completed when it's in the body, only when it comes out. So let's see, what does that mean that the egg is completed only once it comes out? Like we discussed on Daf Beis, that if you say that once it comes out, it's finished and then it's mutter to eat it with milk, meaning we said at what point does an egg in a chicken or an egg in a hen become mutter? When does it call parav? Meaning, when does it change from being fleshix to parav? Right? So it's mashma. The Gemara says, it's mashma that only when it comes out, it's mutter to eat with milk. But if it would be in the stomach of the hen, then it's also to eat b'chalav. Tanya, we learned hashechet is tarnagailas. If you shecht a hen, u'matzav beitzim gemuros, and you find full eggs, and then mutaras lachlam b'chalav. It's multidun chalav. So it can't be that making it when it comes out of the mother, that's when it becomes parav, because clearly when it's inside it, it's parav. What it must mean, nupshat. It means that when it comes out, that's when it's completed, and it's mutter to eat it on Yom Tov. Why? Because it was prepared before Yom Tov. Yeah, it's mashma that if you would shecht a hen on Yom Tov and you'd find an egg in it, it would be also eaten on Yom Tov. But Tani, we learned in the Braysos, shecher is tarnagailos, so what's about beitzim gemuras, mutaras alachlam b'Yom Tov. Right, we had this on Daf Beis that if you shecht a hen and you find eggs in there, it's mutter to eat it on Yom Tov. So if you're going to say kamashma b'Braysos, my deloy yashmina b'masnisin, the Braysos is just telling us what the Mishnah left out. Hanami Tanina, we also learned this. Beitzah shenolda b'Yom Tov. If you have an egg that was born on Yom Tov, Beishami Aaron Teichel, we still Aaron Loy Teichel, right? That's the first two lines in the Masechta. Beishami says you're allowed to eat the egg that's born on Yom Tov. Beisilo says no. Bad kan loy pligi Beishami Beisilo elo benolda. So the Machlokes Beishami Beisilo is only if it laid the egg. Abba mei iman divrei kol shariat. So everybody holds its mutter, which means that the Braysos and the Mishnah are saying the same thing. Beisilo afilu mei iman. How would it work according to Rabbah?
Yeah, how is still going on inside the chicken?
What we said is a gezeira. I mean, why would Rabbah answer it?
If the reason of Beisil is that it's also the Rabbah,
right?
That a chum is going on inside the chicken all the time.
So what are you saying?
The me'ima should be also also.
The me'ima should be also according to Rabbah. Well, I thought Rabbah would ask it. You mean say it's fakir from this?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Okay, let's see. Let's see what do I hear. And if you're going to say that Beis Hillel really means to say it's also even in the stomach. And if Beis Hillel says it's also even in the stomach, so then why are you coming on to the case where it lays the egg? Why not just say a case where it's in the stomach and kol shekain when it comes out? And it's to tell us the koyach b'shamet that filu noldo namashar, that even when it's born it's even mutter. If that's the case, now we have a brayso that says that if you shech the tarnagolos and you find eggs in there, it's mutter on Yom Tov, money loy b'shamay loy b'shilo. Then you have nobody that would say that, right? Because b'shamay is going to say that it's mutter even out of the stomach, and Beis Hillel is going to say it's also even in the stomach. Okay, so then we're done with that pshat. An interesting scientific thing here. I don't know if any of the experts on the chicken hatching knows this, but it's saying that when it's nigmar with the yitzia, it'll be able to what's the word? It's going to be fertilized. It'll be able to fertilize the egg. A fertilized egg that gets laid will be able to turn it into a chick, right? But if it's taken out of the mother's stomach, that egg will never turn into anything. Meaning, if the egg was fertilized by a man and it gets laid properly, then that egg will have the potential to become a chick. But if you intercept that egg and you get it out of the mother's stomach before it's actually laid, then it's not going to be able to grow. So okay, so we're saying when it goes out, then it has the potential to grow. So l'may nafkamina, what's the difference? What's the difference if it can or can't? An egg is an egg. So we say no, l'mekach u'memkar, it has to do for business, right? Kehu da'amar lahu, because there was somebody who said bei. Right here we go into Aramaic. Right here's beya, right? The way it's pronounced by most. Beya de pachya laman. A person goes out and he goes in the street and he says, "Who has a beya that makes noise?" Right? Meaning that it makes noise. The way Rashi says it, it's born from a mother who's making noise when it gives birth. Meaning that they
cackles. The word is cackles, Reb Yaakov.
Cackles. Okay, cackles. Okay, very good. Okay, thank you. So if you have the egg that they want it from a hen that cackles, meaning that it should cackle when it's laying the egg, I guess, right? Meaning that he doesn't want an egg that was taken out of the mother. He doesn't want a C-section egg. He wants an egg that's. Is that where it comes from? I hear. Okay, so anyways, he's looking for eggs that were laid live. And they gave him eggs that they found inside a shechted chicken. Also, look, they came from it's a mekach tois for Hadar, and he has to give it back. So pshita, it's pasha. Of course, he has to give it back. The guy was looking for eggs that were laid, and you gave him eggs that were taken from inside a chicken. So my answer is no. Really, he wants to eat the eggs. He's not interested in growing chicks. And this that he wanted from a cackling one, mishum the trivan, because it's more gishmak. It's more developed. So since it's more developed, the egg is better, right? So then l'may nafkamina, and let's say, so what's the difference? L'meisvila beini beini. Because the difference would be is that if Hitaka wants it to eat, right? If he wants it to eat, then and he sold him, he wanted ones that were born alive, not born alive, whatever, that were laid properly, which taste better. And he sold him ones that were taken out of the chicken. Good. So they're worth, let's say, 10 cents less per egg. So give him back the 10 cents, right? You don't have to take back the whole thing. You don't have to ruin the whole deal. Kamash Malon. So we're telling you to know it has nothing to do with achila. He wants it because he wants to grow the chicks, and Mela, it's useless to him. This egg is useless. Again, if the whole thing was that he wanted to eat it, and he wanted eggs that tasted better, and you gave him eggs that tasted worse, okay, so give him back the cost difference. But if he wanted it to grow chicks, and you're giving him an egg that will never grow a chick, so then the whole thing is a mistake. Right?
He doesn't want to be fleecing.
Maybe that. Well, if it's fully developed inside, it's not going to be fleshik either.
Oh, okay.
Right, but we'll get to that soon. Fine. So then the Gemara goes through a couple of examples. Who has a male? Who has literally means a male chicken. What it means is a fertilized egg. Anybody have a fertilized egg? They gave him eggs that are safna me'ara. It's really what safna me'ara means. It absorbed from the ground. We'll get to that in a minute. What exactly it is? It's actually something very negei lemaisa from that. Also, they came in front of Rav Ami. You sold him the wrong eggs. He's looking for fertilized eggs, and you sold him unfertilized eggs. So it has to mekav tois. It goes back pshita. So it's pasha. The one answers the same. Same Gemara as before. Similar, right? He's saying Miri, he really just wants the male, the fertilized eggs because they're fattier. So what would be the difference? To give him the cost difference, meaning if he wanted to eat an egg, he wanted an egg for eating, and he wanted a fatty one, you gave him a not such fatty one, so just refund the difference. Kamash Malan, no, that's a business thing. He wanted the male egg, he wanted the fertilized egg so that he can grow chicks. So the whole thing is the whole mekach is gone. Now, safna me'ara, it's kedai to stop for a minute just to understand what's going on. When you find an egg spot, blood spot in an egg, there's no males anywhere near. We're going to see more and further down the daf. There's no males anywhere near, unless it's a free range or what do you call it, egg. There is no male anywhere near it. So if there's a blood spot, what would be normally the problem with a blood spot? Because it's a sheretz, because it's starting to create a chick. And that's also al sheretz until it hatches and opens its eyes, right? So it's considered a sheretz. So nowadays, what's wrong with the egg? So the nafkamina. So what comes out? That really our eggs should be no problem if they have blood spots, which is what the halacha is. Really, our blood spots, again, unless it's a free range egg, our blood spots are not sheretz because it can't possibly be. It's not. It's safna me'ara. That's what it's called. It can't possibly be a fertilized egg. So the nafkamina is do you have to throw out the whole egg if you have a blood spot? If it's a free range egg and there's concern that there's a male around, then you have to throw out the whole egg because the whole egg has a din of a sheretz. But if it's not a free range egg and it's only an egg that's safna me'ara, then me'ikar din, the rest of you're not allowed to drink, you're not allowed to eat blood. So you have to take out the blood spot. If you didn't take out the blood spot, then, or if you did take out the blood spot, you didn't take out the whole egg, then you're going to be perfectly fine. Ramesha has a tshuva and says, no, just throw out the whole egg. But me'ikar adin, it's no problem. This shaila, every eruv Shabbos, every eruv Yom Tov, multiple times, people ask that they put in the egg, and once the egg was in the mixture, they saw a little blood spot, they took out the blood spot, they took out what they can, is the whole thing treif. So the whole thing, b'diavad, is a 100% kosher, unless it's a free-range egg, and that's because the blood spots nowadays are not because they're fertilized. If they would be because they're fertilized, then you'd have to throw out the whole egg, and you'd have to calculate with the mixture, shishim, neged, shishim, opposite how much of the egg is. But nowadays, most eggs, that's not negeya. But again, we still don't want you to have the blood spot because you're not allowed to eat blood. Yeah, so that's the stuff. What? Why be the evidence, you said? Because Ramesha says you should throw out the whole egg. Really, according to the din, is if you're checking eggs and you see a blood spot, just take the blood out and then the egg is fine. What should be the problem? It's not a sheretz. If that egg would never grow into anything. There's no male around. So Ramesha says to get rid of it. But if for some reason you mixed it into your food, then you're perfectly fine. Because Ramesha says to throw out the egg. So we're not going to, what? And the truth is, it's right. And did he have it with the blood spot too? But then you would only need shishim neged the blood. Right? You need 60 times more than the blood. So anyways, that's the practical that we get out of this sugya. That because a lot of people get very nervous with the blood spots in the eggs. Yeah, unless it's a free range, or what's the other type? What's the other thing? The word they use?
Organic?
Organic, that's it. Thank you. Organic eggs, which I'm not even sure organic have males around, but we'll see. And how far did the male have to be? That's going to be by the number. Okay, so let's go back. So now going back to the original question, right? Again, we had said in the Gemara that when the egg comes out, it gets fully. That's when it's complete. People say, what does it mean that when it comes out, it's completed? In ruba nigmara, when the majority of it comes out, that's when it's completed. Let's say on erev Yom Tov, most of the egg was about to be laid. She excretes the egg most of the way, and then it went back in. Right? Mutaras la'achla, the Yom Tov, it's mutter to eat it on Yom Tov, because he says that egg is considered as if it was born. As long as the majority of the egg came out, it's considered if it was born. We have that by humans too. If the baby comes out, the majority of the baby comes out and then it goes back in. I don't know if the Dr. Coleman's still on there. I don't think this happens too much nowadays. But yeah. So that's the same, similar then.
The way the world is going, I don't blame that baby.
Yeah, okay, I hear. Okay, Vigadamri, the others say, my im yitziyasa nigmara. What does it mean with that it gets completed when it goes out? Im yitziyas kula nigmara. When all of it comes out, that's when the egg is done. Im yitziyas kula in avaruba loy, the opposite. Right? The first shot is that when a majority comes out, it's considered it's considered born. This sheet is saying no. It's can't. Roiv is not enough. It's got to come all the way out. Coming to exclude Rabbi Yochanan. Fine. Okay. So Gufa. So we learn Hashachet is a tarnagolos and what's about beitzim gemuras mutaris la'achlam b'chalav. Right. If you have a shechta tarnagolos and you find full eggs in there, it's mutter to eat them with milk. Rabbi Yaakov Emer im hayim uras begidin asurus. If it's mixed in with sinews, then it's awesome. Meaning, if the egg, in order for the egg to be parv, in order for an egg taken out of a chicken to be parv, it needs to be total separate entity. If there are some sinews connecting to it, then it's awesome. Yeah, because it's according to Rabbi Yaakov, it's considered still part of the chicken. So man tana la tana rabbanon. So Gemara asks, who's this price like a oichel min avelas oif tar? Right, we mamash just had this, Rabban. We just had this Shabbos afternoon in the chinuch. Right, this mamash what we're talking about. Right, any nevela is tameh. A nevela is tameh. A nevela animal, any animal that's not shechted becomes tameh. And a bird, the same thing. But a bird has a unique thing. Right, a bird, if you touch the bird and if you carry it, it doesn't become tameh. But if you swallow it, it will make you tameh, and it'll make your clothing tameh too. Yeah, we already said on Shabbos that this is why they have to make Tumah Tara so confusing. Which okay, that's the Torah, Baruch Hashem. We have the Torah. That's why there should be no boredom ever. But anyway, so if you eat the nevela of a bird, it's going to be tahar, right? I'm sorry, I didn't say tahar. That can't be. It's tameh. If you eat from a kosher bird, from a nevela of a kosher bird, if it's from the the eggs from the ovaries, right? Not the ovary itself, but the eggs that are connected to the ovaries is the part of the body that creates the eggs, right? So then you have eggs there, and then you have the actual ovary. So from the group of eggs in the ovary, from the bones, yidden from the sinews, or from the basar that gets detached when it was alive, that's tahar. Those are all tahar. Why? Because we're saying that those are not considered as part of the chicken. Again, the eggs, but not the eggs by the ovaries, and the bones and the sinews. That's not considered the basar of the bird. But if you have to actually take from the eshkol of the beitzah, meaning from the actual ovary, kurkavan, right? That's from what we call the crop, right? And from the intestines, or if you melted the fat and you swallowed it, right? So, which the chiddush of this is that even drinking the tray for the bird that wasn't shefted will make you tameh. Tameh, it's tameh. So man tana min ashal shal beitzim tar. Who is the Tana who says that the group of the eggs is tar, meaning it's not considered, the eggs themselves are not considered part of the chicken? Amar Rav Yosef, like Rabbi Yaakov. That's not Rabbi Yaakov. He says that if they're mixed in with the yidden, it's asus. And basically what we have here is like this: two different yonim. Rabbi Yaakov is talking about eggs, whether they're considered fleishiks. He's talking about iser v'heter. Here we're talking about Tumah and Tahara. So we want to compare that Rabbi Yaakov, who says that eggs, when they're still connected to the mother, are considered still fleishiks. So we want to say that the ovaries, the eggs that are in the ovaries, since they're still connected to the mother, are considered tamei because they're considered part of the chicken, right? So we want to say that this is not like Rabbi Yaakov, because Rabbi Yaakov would say that it should become tamei. This Braysos says that it's tahar. So that means that this Braysos is not like Rabbi Yaakov. Again, Rabbi Yaakov would hold that as long as there's a connection there, it's considered part of the mother. If it's considered part of the mother, then it's going to be tamei, right? But the other sheet holds that it doesn't make a difference if it's still connected, as long as it's a separate entity. It's a separate entity. So therefore, both the egg should be pariv, and the eggs from the ovary should also be meaning not connected, and therefore they're going to be tar. So Rabbi Yosef to like Rabbi Yaakov, against not like Rabbi Yaakov. Rabbi Yaakov, how you and also. Abai says, who says Dilma Adkan like Rabbi Yaakov Hasam Elinia Isura? Maybe Rabbi Yaakov is only talking about Isra Veheter, whether we should call this egg that's mixed in, that's connected to the mother, whether we should call it fleishiks. Avalinin Tuma, but for Tuma, loy, but maybe he doesn't say it for Tuma. And if you're going to say no, maybe we should make it gzeira that it's considered Tuma because the eggs are considered part of the mother. Afushe Tuma, that would be adding on to Tuma. Afushe Tuma midrabanan like mafshinan. We never add on Tuma midrabanan because we never want. The reason the Rabbanan don't want to add on any more Tuma than they have to, because then it's going to make more foods Tame. And others say, Man Tana min eshkel shobetz in Tame. Who's the Tana that says that from the actual ovary is Tame? Amar Rav Yosef, Rav Yaakov, that's Rav Yaakov. If they're mixed in with the yidden, then it's asur. Who says that the ovaries, that's the ones that the eggs are coming from the ovaries? Maybe it's only talking about the actual ovary, not the eggs in the ovary. Remember, even going to say that eshkol itself, the ovaries itself, what's the chiddush? Midi dava korkavan, and it's going to be similar, that it should be like the korkavan, the crop, and the intestines. The basar, that even though their basar, since there's some people that don't eat the intestines, and there's people that don't eat the korkavan, do I need to? It needs to tell us, right? It needs to tell us that it's still, even though people don't eat it, it's still considered part of the chicken, and therefore it's tamei. So since there's some people that don't eat the ovaries, it's lashmin, and therefore needed to tell us this, right? Okay, so Tana Rabban, a whole new sugi now. Anything that has if the animals that are giving birth have relations during the day, then the babies are born during the day. If their relations are only at night, the births are also at night. But anything where they have relations, sai during the day, sai at night, right? Then they'll have their babies whether it's during the day, whether it's at night.
This means that kind of animal.
That kind, not that the actual, yes, correct. Just the type of animal that they cohabit, whatever, mate during the day. So there's three. There's during the day, there's at night, and there's both day and night. So the Gemara says, what are they? That's considered tarnagoylos because they mate during the day and they have the babies during the day, lay eggs during the day, right? If those that have they mate at night and it's born at night. Zu Atalev, that's talking about the bat, right? A bat, they hang out at night. That's referring to a person and anything similar to a person, right? I think what they do with hens nowadays is, don't they shut the lights on them twice a day so that they get double eggs? I think they fool their bodies into so they what? Yeah, that's what they do. They get 2 eggs out of them. Yeah. So you see that's it's only during the day. So Amar Mar, anything that they mate during the day, that's referring to a tarnagoylos. So my nafka mean, what's the difference? So unbelievable unbelievable here to this Gemara. Look at the Rav Mari Braydo Rav Kahana. The Rav Mari Braydo Rav Kahana. Bodak bekana shaltar the goyim eruv Yom Tov. V'loy matzav b'beitza. It's mamash and Yonah Diyama right this second. It's mamash and Yonah Diyama this second. You go right before Shkia, and you check the nest, and you see no egg there. Ulamachar hishkim, and the next day you get up early because you don't want to sleep during Rosh Hashana. So you're getting up before daybreak, and you go see if there's an egg. Umatzav b'beitza. It's mutter. I mean, again, you checked it right before nightfall. Right now, what's the difference? If it was born during the day, it's not muksa. If it was born after the day, then it's that night. Then it's muksa because it was born on Yom Tov. So the Gemara says it's such a strong chazaka that hens lay their eggs during the day, that even though you checked it right before nightfall and there was no egg, and then you got there during the night and you saw an egg, it's still considered mutter that it was born, that it was laid before Yom Tov. How could that be? The Gemara says, how can you say that? You checked the nest. So Amar loy badak yafi yafi. Maybe you just didn't do. You checked it like you didn't do a good job. Vafilu badak yafa, and even if you did check it well, Amar yatzas aruba. Maybe most of it came out during the day. V'chazra, and then it went back in. V'chazra hava, and then it went back in. And ukad Rabbi Yochanan, like we said, like Rabbi Yochanan. Maybe during the day the majority of the egg came out when you didn't see it. Then it went back in, and then it laid it fully during the night. So we look at it like it's during the day. So Gemara says, Aini, that's not true. If you checked the nest of the Tanagas and you didn't find an egg, you got up early when it was still night, and you found an egg, it's a surah. So Gemara says, why is that also? So Hasnam bin Safna Ma'ara. No, there it's talking about where it was the egg didn't come with the male. So Mamela, that type of egg will they'll lay at night. Right? Only fertilized eggs will go during the day, not eggs that are not fertilized by males. So the Gemara says, Ihachi the Rav Mari Nami. So Rav Mari, what was the chiddush by Rav Mari? Right, the previous case, maybe that was also a Safna Me'ara egg. So he said, B'dika Zachar Badat, somewhere where there was a male around. So Gemara says, B'dika Zachar Nami Ema Me'ara Safna, who cares? So what? There's a male around. Maybe it got warm from the ground, and that's where it came from. Amaravina Gemiri, because we know which Gemiri is a fascinating lashon here, because Gemiri means that's a halacha l'maisha misinai sometimes. Whatever it is, it's a strong tradition. If there's a male around, it will not lay an egg on its own, unless it gets fertilized. Bad kama, how far away does the male have to be? Amarav Gamdam Bishmei Derav Kol Heicha the Shamakali Biyamama. Anytime it hears a male voice during the day, then it's not going to lay an egg. Over Ramari Uvda at Shisin Batin. Ramari Paskin wants that if there was an egg, if there was a male 60 houses away, then he said that the egg laid during the day, during the night is considered during the day, and you can eat it on Yom Tov. The Ika Nara, and if there's a river, loy over. The male is not going to go over the river, right? The Ika Mavra Avra, but Ika Mavra, if there's a bridge, then he will go over the bridge. The Meitzra loy over, but it's not going to go on a rickety bridge, right? They're very picky. These hens are very picky. They're only going to chase a female to a certain extent, and that's it. Sahaba Uvda Avra Meitzra. There was once a story where it did go over that type of bridge. My ukmasa did the Safna Me'ara. So now we're going back. So what do we say? We're talking about where it's Safna Me'ara. My area Badak, Kile Badak Nam. So then if it's Safna Me'ara, who cares if he checked the nest? Even if he didn't check the nest, right? We're going to say it's also because maybe it came from the ground. Kile Badak, Ema Me'asmal having knows. Because if he didn't check it, then we can maybe say that it came from yesterday. And then maybe the egg is mutter. Well, if he checked it, so why don't we say maybe the majority of that came out and then it went back in, and then it would be like Rabbi Yochanan. So we say to Rabbi Yochanan, no, we're not chayshid that of Rabbi Yochanan's case that it comes out in a majority and goes back in. That's not shchiach enough for us to be chayshid with that. So Amar Rav Yosef ben Shol, Amar Rav, Haytuma shchika sakanta ligiluya. Ground garlic is a sakana for gilui. You can't leave it out, because if you leave it out, then snakes may may eat it. Okay, so that's just brought agav. Okay, I guess we're running a little too late, so we'll have to stop here. Okay, I apologize. I thought we do finish the Amud. We'll finish Be'ez Hashem Matzei Rosh Hashana. Figure about 9 o'clock Matzei Rosh Hashana. The Olam should have a ksivas taiva. It should be a schus that we all get together for 45 minutes before Yom Tov. It should be a schus for us, for Klal Yisrael, and we should hear only good to Basuras and a ksivas taiva and a good job.
Amen. Good job.
Amen.
Yeah. Good job.
I'm not lighting there, right?
Good job, good job.
Good job, everybody.
Try to stretch it out, my tzedakah, for me.
Well, yeah, we'll stretch it out. We'll try and stretch it out.
Shkoya.
Good job, good job.
You know, you look so good at our table. One time you have to join us.
I can get involved in my figure with that one.
No, stick with her. Good one.
Maybe once your husband posts on Sukkot that if your share comes into the Sukkot, it's tire party. Make my way here.
Yeah, I need the
Yeah.
oven on 200 here. And to keep on going and a flame. We just leave the flame on
Whatever you want.
because you're gonna be in shul and Rosh Hashana, I'm gonna end up doing it wrong.
No problem. How's the race to answer before everybody shuts their phones? Yeah, I'll put it back. Come on.
Where's all our boxes?
Upstairs in your room. That's a problem.
You found yours? Oh, here's it.
Yeah.
Rivka has her own, so
Anything crazy recently?
Nothing,
Nothing like that.
not you always get in Rosh Hashana.
Yeah,
Your Erev Rosh Hashana, you got the
people who take years and fear of that stupidity.
well, no, some yeah, and some no.
Oh, yeah? You got real ones?
What? No, like guy, like they have the goal to text us like I went to mikvah and I was together with my wife. Should I go back to mikvah? Every year I get this. Every year.